All right, I think we're ready for our second guest, Remi Wilkins, aren't we?
I'm ready. Let's get him in here, Killer Cass. Remi.
Yo.
Hey, Remi Wilkins. What's happening, baby? You are on the Undisputed Wrestling Show. We got Q-Bar Carmichael. We have the Bearded Wonder, Zane Paisley. And we have the Morning Star, NWA Continental Champion, William Huckabee on the line. Welcome to the Undisputed Wrestling Show, Remi. This is Remi Wilkins, guys.
Welcome, Remi.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Thanks for having me.
I'm going to let your buddy Drew start the questioning off. I've read a little bit on you, but I think Drew's got a couple very poignant questions for you.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, Remi, let's let our listeners know, man. Run it down for us. Tell us about you. What made you want to become a pro wrestler? When was it that you decided this is what you wanted to do, and what did you do about it?
Well, I always wanted to be a wrestler. That's no secret. As a child, I was always interested in being part of this business, man, being a kid, watching it on TV, enjoying those moments with my family. We used to get together, late 80s, early 90s, man, watch all the pay-per-views and get together as a family and watch all the events. Whenever a live show came to our hometown, we would get tickets. And, that's really when it started for me, man, back in the late 80s. I was born in 1985. And for those that know, that's the first year that WrestleMania started. So it was almost like destiny, man. I've been watching it since I can remember, and I always wanted to do it. And, I never really thought I could, because watching all those guys on TV, watching them perform, looking at them and seeing how huge and gigantic and skilled they were, man, I just kind of, in the back of my mind, I didn't know if I could do it or not. But, as I got older and I started going to live shows and, meeting a lot of these guys in person, it just came a little more clear to me, man, that maybe I could give it a shot. A lot of these guys were my size. Some were smaller, some were a lot bigger. So it made sense to give it a shot. I mean, there's no sense, liking something and not at least trying it out once, see how it fares for you, man. So, eventually, later on down the line, I got into a position where, I found a good trainer. A lot of avenues opened up for me, and I took a shot. I went to a tryout. I got accepted into a school. The rest is history, man. I started training back in 2010. With Billy Rock at the School of Rock. It was his second class. For those that don't know Billy Rock, he runs the School of Rock up in Lafayette, Indiana. I met Billy at the same promotion where I actually first met Drew Skills, and that was at Insanity Pro Wrestling here in Indianapolis. I went to a show. I used to go to shows all the time here in the city, and I got a lot of contacts with some of the local guys here, and Billy Rock was the guy they pointed me to. They said, hey, man, he's got a school about 45 minutes from here. Give him a call and try to set something up with Billy. So, that's what I did back in 2010. And,
hey, Remi, were you at the show for IPW where it was Drake Younger versus Bryan Danielson, and then earlier in the card it was Moxley versus Jimmy Jacobs where they fought out in the street?
I wasn't at that show. I was supposed to be at that show working security. That was part of my deal with Billy Rock. He had a working relationship with Insanity Pro. So whenever you signed up with his school, one of the steps was you had to go to Insanity Pro every month. You had to help set up the ring, set up chairs, tear down, all that good stuff. But I remember that show specifically. I had a prior engagement in Michigan, which is where I'm from, and I didn't get to see it live, and I actually had to pay a pretty hefty penalty for that. I had to go to Billy Rock's house and do some yard landscaping and stuff like that.
Paying your dues, brother. Paying your dues.
You still got to pay your dues, whether you're at the show or not. You got to do what you signed up to do. So he had me out in the backyard, probably 90-degree weather, pulling weeds and trimming bushes and shoveling sand. It was a long day.
See, Trip Cassidy is from the School of Rock also. Was he in your class, or who else was in your class?
He was kind of partially in my class. You know, I was in the second class. Tripp graduated the first class. He was Billy Rock's first student, but he was also Billy Rock's assistant during my class. My class consisted of, I think it was maybe 5 or 6 people. It was me. It was Trevor Court. It was Big Sue Jackson. It was James Reeves. I'm not sure if he's active right now, and a few others. But no, Tripp was there most of the time, but he wasn't an active participant in our class. No.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Sorry, Drew. I'm sorry to interrupt. Your question.
It's all good. It is all good. Zane Paisley. Remi, and you talked a little bit about the training, and that's old school, and you know, it really made you pay your dues, and it really shows, you get it in the business, and that's one of the reasons why we've kind of gravitated together. Who was, when you talk about being a fan as a kid, who was some of your favorites? I know we both share the Macho Man, love for the Macho Man, but who was some of your favorites?
Yeah, well, like you just nailed it, man. Macho Man is my all-time favorite. You know, anytime anybody asks me who my favorite wrestler is, Randy Savage was my guy. You know, like most people, I was a Hulkamaniac. You know, from a very early age, I actually cried real tears back in '90 when the Warrior beat him at WrestleMania 6. I was upset for days. You know, my parents couldn't even calm me down. It was so real. But yeah, Hulk Hogan. You know, big fan of Hulk Hogan. Big fan of Mr. Perfect, Ravishing Rick Rude. You know, Demolition. Old school cats like that, leading up to the newer generation in the early '90s. You know, with the Shawn Michaels, the Bret Harts, you know, guys like that. Growing up, man, that's who I really looked up to. You know, I had all the action figures, had the T-shirts. I remember, you know, early '90s. I grew up in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and it's not a very big city. And WWF at the time used to come to our town maybe once every 2 years. And, you know, as soon as tickets went on sale, we would get them. And my parents would get them for us. Me and my brother and my cousins, we would all go. They would drop us off and trust us not to get into any trouble. So I remember one of the first shows I went to in Wing Stadium, me and my cousin Norman, he's the same age as me, we actually snuck down into the locker room, and we got to meet the Hart Foundation, which was dope. I mean, we got to meet Bret Hart and the Anvil. And Bret Hart actually gave me a pair of glasses before he even came out to the ring. So
that is awesome.
That is a really cool moment. Like I used to see it on TV, him coming out and giving glasses to the fans. I'm like, yo, he did that to me. I wish I would have got it on camera, but you know, I still had the same experience. It was cool.
Awesome.
You recently got to have a high profile match with some '90s stars in the Nasty Boys at Heroes and Legends 5. Tell us what that meant to you, and how was that experience? Of course, I was there for it from us leaving at 5 o'clock in the morning in Indianapolis and getting to the news station at 7 a.m. You know, to do the whole deal. But tell us how that was for you.
It was great. It was great. I had a good time in that match. You know, it was surreal to me because at that point I had never wrestled, you know, a person I've ever, you know, watched as a youth. You know, that was my first one. And, you know, people used to ask me all the time, have you ever wrestled any guys that you watched growing up? And, you know, I had to tell them no. But I finally got the opportunity to wrestle, you know, somebody I used to watch on television, and it was great. You know, we had a little situation at the news station. You know, they had us on camera up in Fort Wayne doing you know, basically promoting the show the day of at the news station. And first time I met those guys, and I can honestly tell you, you know, they look big on TV, and they are actually big in real life, man. I mean, I literally stood next to those guys, and I felt like a child again. And I'm like, man, okay. So we got to share the ring with these guys later that night, and I think it was a great match. You know, we kind of got in there, we mixed it up. The fans loved it. You know, obviously, you know how those Heroes and Legends crowds are. They're jam-packed, man. Everybody's involved. The crowd is always on their feet. And the minute the Nasty Boys music hit, you know, it got real. You know, and I was like, wow. I'm in the ring, sharing the ring with two dudes I used to watch on TV. So imagine being a wrestling fan and experiencing that. It was amazing. I had a great time. I can't front.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, it was awesome getting to watch you guys do that, man. And, you know, especially, you know, I talked to Knobs and Sags in the back, and the fact that you got the extras Pity City. That was really cool.
I kind of felt like somebody was politicking to get that extra Pity City in there, man. Set me up for that one.
Let me kick it over to my tag team partners. Q, you got anything for Remi?
Remi, you spent some time in Remix, didn't you? When Billy Corgan was there, maybe?
Yeah. Resistance Pro, yeah.
Tell us about that, man.
Well, yeah, man, it was a good run, you know. Basically, you know, I got my when I first heard about the company forming up in Chicago, being headlined by Billy Corgan, you know, initially I sent the tape in like everybody else. I sent in a resume, and I didn't get really any feedback at first. You know, they wasn't really, you know, trying to bring me in like that. They kind of had some bigger names to start to show off to kind of see how it was going, how it would test the waters and see if it lasts. And I didn't get my first opportunity until their first anniversary show. So my first match there was on their first year anniversary show. I had a tag team match with Dustin Reyes against the 4-Star Heroes. And basically Billy Corgan came up to me and Dustin after the match, and he said he liked our stuff. He wanted us to come back. Beautiful. You know, that's how it all started. It was a good run at Resistance. You know, it was a lot of uncertainty as far as my character went. You know, I was trying to find something that would relate to the Chicago crowds because I know their crowds are a little different than some of the other crowds out here. Right. So it took me a while to kind of get my niche going, get where I wanted to go. I went through a couple of different changes up there. I started out in the tag team with Dustin Reyes. He unfortunately didn't come back for a while. I went solo for a while, did some a lot of gimmick matches, a lot of 3-ways, a lot of 4-ways, a lot of scrambles and stuff like that. And that was cool. You know, they gave me a little experience working the Chicago crowds and whatnot and trying to get familiar with the locker room there because a lot of the guys and girls I didn't know. There's a lot of new faces. I wasn't really familiar with how they worked, and, you know, that was, you know, kind of the better parts of that, you know, experience was meeting all the new talent. Right. So, you know, initially, they brought my boy Trevor Court in, one of the guys I trained with, my tag team partner in the Alpha Breed, and they made us a tag team, which was great. That's kind of what we wanted to kind of continue what we had been doing in other companies. Right. They changed our name though. They didn't let us run by the Alpha Breed. They wanted us to be called Love Hate, which was cool. You know, it kind of gave off, you know, a little different vibe or whatever. That was kind of the thing at Resistance is, you know, a lot of the guys are known on the indies using their, you know, what they train by and, you know, basically getting over what they do, but they kind of want to repackage you to kind of make it their own, which was cool. So, you know, we went along with it, and we had a lot of good matches there together, me and Trevor, as Love Hate. And then there was a point where Trevor didn't come back for a while. So, and again, I was back to square one, trying to figure out what I could do to, you know, last in the company, try to move up and whatnot. And multiple conversations with the staff up there, with Billy Corgan and the Barron brothers and whatnot. We finally landed on something that got me a little more exposure. They had this gimmick up there. It used to be run by Sugar Dunkerton and Aaron Epic. It was called Lockup. Basically, it was the prison gimmick. You know, it was a bunch of inmates tagged together, going out there beating up people, basically having that prison mentality, which was cool to see. You know, the original Lockup, you know, Suge and Epic, they really got over with the Chicago crowd, man. And if y'all know Suge and Epic, y'all know they really connect with the fans, and they connect so well that you almost want to cheer for them. So I got to a meeting with Billy Corgan, and he was explaining to me how he wanted to revamp the Lockup group. He wanted it to be a little more grimy, a little more, you know, real life prison like. You know, he didn't want the fans cheering them. You know, he didn't want them out there doing the jokes and all that good stuff. So once they dismembered the original Lockup, they brought it back with me. And, you know, I was pretty honored that, you know, they would ask me to do it, to lead the new Lockup team. And you know, we got together with Billy Corgan and the Barron brothers, myself and Chris Hall, who was the other part of the new Lockup. And we had a good run, man. We had a couple tag team title opportunities up in Chicago, up in Minnesota, all over that area. You know, we had the TV deal for a while with AMC. Had a reality show that was in the works. I don't really know the whole backstory of what happened. I'm not really sure how that whole situation died, but I know that for a while, that entire company was just on a high, man. And it was hard. It was hard to, you know, not look down.
Right.
So, it was to a point where we were doing, they had cameras from GQ magazine, Time magazine, and news cameras from different outlets all in the building. Basically,
wow.
it was something I've never experienced before. I've never been in a venue where there were so many cameras and so many people and so many microphones. And I don't know how to, I've never dealt with that before, so I didn't know how to act. I was just trying to make sure that my face was seen, make sure that the company was, represented well. So we had a good time of existence, man. It was a good run for a good while. They're still running. Obviously,
right.
They've been running shows recently, but I went my separate ways with Resistance not too long ago.
Right.
Once Billy Corgan left the company, things changed a little bit.
Right.
The roster got turned over. Some of the
Right.
bigger names left the company, and
Right.
just
now, Remi,
things happen how they happen.
Remi, you mentioned earlier about how you would sit around as a kid and watch wrestling with your family, and it was sort of a family affair. And you went with was it your brother and your cousin you used to go with, or with your cousin?
Yeah, my brother and my cousins, we're all around the same age, so we did everything together.
What's it like for them to see you as a fan with them, and then you go out and get trained, and now you're in the business? I mean, it's got to be a thrill for them, right?
Yeah, absolutely, man. They love it. My brother's one of my biggest fans. He's always pushing me to try to do different things in the ring. He's always pushing me to try out for bigger promotions and, more travel, longer, I guess, different companies in different cities and whatnot. He's pushing me, which, I can respect that because, my brother's he's been there every step of the way with me, on this professional wrestling journey. So I can respect that, man. They all dig it, My cousins, they're the same way. If they can get to a show, they'll come out and support. My parents like it. My dad likes it a lot. My mother, she likes wrestling. She's always liked wrestling. She doesn't like me wrestling.
No, you're her boy. You're her boy.
Yeah. I'm baby boy. I mean, I'm baby
That's
boy.
right.
So
That's right.
she doesn't like it at all. She's been to a couple shows, but there are also a couple shows where I told her that she could not come to.
Right.
There was an instance back in let me say a couple years ago. We had a show up in Michigan, up in Cassopolis, where my mother actually got out of her seat and tried to interfere in the match. And obviously, I'm sitting here trying to work the match. I can't stop working the match and check on my mother. I had to rely on my other family members to calm her down and get her out of harm's way. But there was an instance where I was wrestling a guy. I think it was Brian Skyline. I was wrestling him, and his manager did some illegal tactics to me and whatever. My mom didn't really take too kindly to it. She got out of her seat, and she started chasing the guy and whatnot. And my grandfather, he actually got up because he thought that somebody was going to put hands on my mom, and it was all crazy. Crazy, man.
That's nuts, man. Let me ask you a question. You've been in the business about 5 years. You're a young guy. I started the business before you were born. I hate to say that, but it's the truth. And, I can relate to that because I had not much support from my family. And I moved from upstate New York to Honolulu, Hawaii to get trained where I knew nobody. And I was there about 2 months, and my brother, who was a Marine, got stationed in Hawaii. And he was the guy that supported me, still supports me, through my entire 32-year career when other sisters and mom and dad were like, oh, you're getting hurt, you're traveling all over the place. My brother was there through thick and thin, man, so I can relate to that. Tell me this. What's your immediate goal? Where do you want to be in 6 months? Where do you want to be in 5 years?
In the immediate future, at this point, I'm just trying to, get better with every match. I'm to the point where I'm really being picky and choosy about where I work because I want every match to mean something. And I want to learn something with each match. I don't want to take a booking just to go out there and wrestle for 10 minutes. I want to actually get better and learn something. So I'm trying to make it a learning experience.
You know what, brother? I tell students of mine this. If you're going to take a crappy show and you're going to work a guy who's 3 months in the business and you can't learn anything, you're better off staying home and going and watching some old Florida Championship Wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling, watching stuff from the 90s that you can study and learn and improve your craft yourself or spend time at the gym. But you have to be picky these days on those shows that you take. So as early as you are in your career, I commend you for that because that's smart, man.
Yeah. I mean, because
sounds like you surround yourself with some pretty cool facts.
man. Yeah.
Plug.
Had to get that in there. You know what I'm saying? I got the knowledge. Drew Skills and Apollo, man. They keep me level headed.
That's right. Hey, 5-year plan, 10-year plan. Let's hear it.
5-year plan. You know, I feel like it's a good time to start trying out for some, bigger companies. Like I said, my brother pushes me. Billy Rock pushes me, and one of the two things those guys have in common is every time that there's a tryout from a company like Ring of Honor being advertised, they're always calling me and texting me, "Hey, Remi, I think it's time for you to go to one of these tryouts. I think it's time for you to go, check one of these things out." So I would definitely like to do, a tryout with a bigger company here within the next 5 years. I would like to try my hand with Ring of Honor first, something like that. To get my foot in the door, get some good criticisms, get the good critique, let me know what I'm good at, let me know what I'm bad at, give me some good advice, and try to make those connections. That'd be a great 5-year goal. That's a company right there with some good steam. They got the TV thing going now. They got a nice working relationship with some of the other bigger companies like New Japan and WWE. So basically, man, trying to stay level-headed would be a good thing to do within the next 5 years before shooting for the stars. I want to get a good base before I start, aiming for the super top. So
that's start thinking. And, there's a rumor that one of the guys on the show here started Steve Corino's career. He managed the Iron Sheik against this guy in the main event, and this guy's also personal friends with Kevin Kelly. I'm just saying, some guy on the show. I don't know who.
Oh, yeah, who's that?
Well, listen, I think you know what, you have a great head on your shoulders, and you're doing the right thing, and you're taking this thing in the right progression, and you're trying to get better every time out. How does it feel for you, a guy who walked in and had to rock school, School of Rock, and he starts training you? Obviously, you knew nothing when you went in there, and now it's 4 or 5 years later, and every time there's a tryout, your trainer is calling you saying, "You're the man, you need to go do this, you're ready." How's that feel, man?
Oh, it feels good, man. It feels good knowing that your trainer, basically sees you as somebody with big play potential. And,
right.
He's been telling me from day one, once I got there, he told me not to get big-headed, but, and I haven't. And
right.
he's always been in my corner, telling me how good I can be, how natural a lot of that stuff came to me because, when we were training, a lot of the everybody learns at their own pace. I was one of the guys that was kind of learning really, really, really fast, and he was like, "Okay, well, I can show you this one time, and I want to see you do it 5 times, and if you can get 4 out of 5, you're good to go." And I was really a really quick learner. He kind of put me on an accelerated path. I would always get my reps. And he would always show me praise, and it seemed like he would show special attention to me, not to say he didn't show any attention to the other people in the school or whatnot. But it was I guess it was pretty evident at an early stage that I was probably one of the more athletic students that he had that had more potential and whatnot, and he made sure to let people know that.
I think I haven't been a trainer to school. Not to cut you off. I've been a trainer to school and trained a couple of pretty good talents. One, Joey Mercury with the WWE, and Christian York. I gave those guys special treatment, but those guys were the guys that worked the hardest. And I'm suspecting that you're probably at that time were also the hardest working guy in there. Am I right?
Yeah, I actually was, man. I was grinding. I was really, really trying to impress some people. I knew if I had to go out to a tryout or to a new company and try to get on, if I wanted to use Billy Rock's name, I had to prove it. Because, he can always put a word in for you, but at the end of the day, you're the one that got to get in the ring. You're the one that's got to prove it to the staff that, hey, I think I deserve a job. So my main goal was, hey, I don't want to go to a new company, use Billy Rock's name, and then let him down. So,
well, that's the thing I was going to say. That's a lot of pressure on you, and obviously you embrace that and carry that ball well. But, when you're going out there, it's not just you. Well, everything you do is going to reflect on your trainer, who obviously you have a ton of respect for, who's in your corner. So you almost, to me, that's the perfect storm to make some magic.
Absolutely, man. I got a ton of respect for Billy Rock. I've had some of my better matches in my career against Billy. He knows me better than anybody. He's given me a lot of the tools that I have now. He really taught me the basics, man. He really taught me how to break down matches and how to make it make sense. I know a lot of the guys nowadays, they're really fascinated with a lot of fancy moves and the fancy spots and whatnot. But if you don't have the basics, it's not really, I mean, you really can't last because not everybody is the same. You got to be able to adapt to everybody's style. And Billy's really good at teaching you the basics. And the basics, if you got the basics, you can pretty much adapt to anything that's thrown at your way in the ring. So, you know, I respect Billy for that. He pounded on the basics, and he made sure that everybody that graduated had a good grasp of the basics. And, you know, basically it's up to you to elevate your game after that. So
right.
You need that foundation, man. You got to have it.
Yeah, and you know the best foundation in the world is just being the greatest wrestlers are masters of the fundamentals, plain and simple. You know, it isn't the crazy crap. It never was. The guys that made the most money, it wasn't that. It was about, you know, being good at the basics and the fundamentals, and then you add some other stuff in there, here and there. But those are the ones, you know, if you go down for a tryout and William Regal watches you, if you can get in the middle and you can wrestle a guy for 8 minutes and, you know, tell a story, make it look good, not hit the ropes 70 times in that 8 minutes, there's a chance you're going to get talked about, and there's a chance you might get an opportunity. So you're doing the right things with what you're doing. I wish the business had 100 more guys like you or 1,000 more guys like you. It'd be in a lot better place than it is right now. Am I right, Drew Skills?
For sure. Most definitely.
Zane Paisley, got a question for our friend Remi?
Well, Remi, nice to talk with you again. We've met on a few occasions, and I enjoy your work. How can our listeners follow you on social media so they can stay up to date with your career?
You can follow me on Twitter. My Twitter handle right now is Remi_Wilkins. That's REMI_Wilkins, WILKINS. You can follow me on Facebook, same name, Remi Wilkins. Instagram, same name, Remi Wilkins. I do a lot of my social media is all connected. So if I post on one thing, it's going, you know, translate to all the other avenues. A lot of my dates coming up, or, you know, I post it on my social media, you know, videos, matches, pictures, anything, man. So if you ever want to get in contact with me, my personal email for bookings is RemiWilkins@gmail.com. If you need anything from me, if you ever want to bring me in for some work or whatever you need, just give me a shout, and you know, we'll make something happen.
Bring in the killer from Kalamazoo. That's what I say, brother.
You've got a big event coming up Sunday, November 1st.
That's right, man. Circle City Collabo. Next NWA Circle City event is November 1st. Very, very, very hot promotion right now. One of the things that Drew actually touched on at the last show, we had a meeting, and he would start, you know, explaining how great it feels to have a really good promotion in Indianapolis that can, you know, bring all the fans back out. I remember when I first started, and I first started going to the IPW shows, man, those places were sold out. They had some of the best talent from across the country coming in. It's starting to get that same kind of feel over at Circle City Wrestling. You know, the last couple shows have been sellouts. I kind of feel bad that they had to turn away like 150 people, but I'm sure, you know, if you get in line super early, I actually posted this yesterday. I said, hey, if you want to come to the show November 1st, make sure you are there early, because tickets sell out fast, and once we're sold out, you know, they turning people away. So if you want to get in there and check out a really hot show, please get there early. There's a lot of big talent coming in on this show November 1st. I believe they got guys from other NWA territories coming in to defend their titles and have matches. A couple of newer guys coming in, some young cats coming up. Some guys like Lone Wolf just won the title, light heavyweight championship.
Junior heavyweight championship.
Junior heavyweight championship.
On that. It's the junior heavyweight championship.
Junior heavyweight championship. That was huge. You know, they tore the roof off the joint. You know, and start expecting matches like that, man. You know, people are stepping up. They want to bring great wrestling back to Indianapolis. So it's really good to have a show within the city limits, man, that we can go out there and perform in, you know, such big crowds, man. It's amazing.
Yeah, JT and Rob are doing great things down there. So that's November 1st. Rob Conway's going to be there. Eric Andrews, Bad Blood. Do you know if you're going to be taking on Corp and JKO for the Circle City Championship?
Hey, man, that'd be great if it happened. I don't really know what our match is at the moment. I'm sure we'll find out sooner or later, but regardless of who it is, man, we'll be ready to go.
I think the Triple C's are ready for that shot. So
hey, bring it on.
Yeah,
bring it on. I got plenty of room in my bag for another belt. Let's get it.
What do you have anything coming up this weekend?
This weekend, no. I had a cancellation, so I'm actually open this weekend. Not sure what I'll do. Maybe I'll do some things around the house, or catch a movie or something. I don't know. I had a booking, now it's closed, man. So.
He's got plans this weekend because I plan on stopping by at some point in time and wearing him out in 2K16 NBA basketball.
Here it is. Here you go. Yeah,
I'm too old. Okay. I'm too old to play on the court, but I'll get him. I'll get him over his house. Got the microphone warrior right here. You talking big game, man? You got to get on the sticks and prove that, man. What you talking about? Well, hey, Remi, man, thanks for coming on, bro. It's good to talk to you for about the sixth time today, and
awesome.
I'm glad that our listeners got to know a little bit more about you today, brother.
Yeah, great show for you, Remi. You did a great job, man.
Hey, right on, man. I appreciate you guys having me, man. Real talk.
Yes, sir.